Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Avengers Endgame. So I saw this in IMAX tonight, so I got the first little collectible mini poster, meaning I'll probably have to go back next weekend to get the second collectible mini poster and see it in IMAX all over again. Plus, thankfully, I was able to get this popcorn tin before they sold out. I was so nervous, I was so scared, but it's amazing. But the real question is Avengers Endgame amazing? I'd say yeah, it's pretty amazing. So, let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. So, a big positive in the film is that all of our actors bring it. I feel like most of our team here gets a shining moment. Everybody gets at least that time to really shine through and really bring out some beautiful character moments. That was great writing from the screenwriters to make sure that everybody got that little bit of time to shine through, but also the actors make the most of it. Robert Downey Jr. has always been amazing as Iron Man, right from the very first one that kicked all of this madness off way back when. But my goodness, this might just be the best performance he's ever given the role. I thought he was so good. He earned every single Tony Stark moment in this film. He's great, literally across the board. He was fantastic the entire time through. Chris Evans was wonderful as Captain America and Steve Rogers, as he almost always is, and I really enjoyed both of their character arcs in this film. Chris Hemsworth always kills it as Thor to me, although we're gonna circle back around to Thor. In the negatives, I still think Chris Hemsworth did a great job. But then we have to look to Scarlett Johansson, who I think is another person who really gave an amazing performance in this film. And if I'm being honest, this film is a defining moment at large for Black Widow. I really think she is given so many opportunities to really shine, and both the character within the setting of the film and Scarlett Johansson herself take every single one of those moments and run with it. I thought she was fantastic here. But as I said, our whole cast does a great job. I don't think there was any bad performances, from the minute backgrounds up to the big main leading roles. And of course, that final Stan Lee cameo, it was perfect. The film also is a great closer. It does such a good job of encapsulating everything we've known, everything we've loved, having callbacks that felt authentic and genuine, that didn't feel like pure fan service. They all felt integral to what it was we were doing and why we were watching this film. The story they built was completely worthy of all of these years of payoff within the MCU, and that's a huge task. There are so many movies, so many different interweaving storylines, as we see so many characters, that it's insane. We were able to get a conclusion to this portion of this world, this portion of the story, like this, and to have it so effortlessly weave together was pretty magical to watch. Now I'm gonna say, this film is not actually all that action heavy, if I'm being honest, but the action scenes are legit. In particular, the big final battle, the end game, if you will. It was amazing. I mean, it was so good. Oh, it's everything you could have asked for as a Marvel fan. There are so many just audible reaction moments that it's insane. I also loved the opening to this film. I thought that was fantastic and really well handled and felt very organic as a move from Infinity War into Endgame. Continuing on the script and the story itself, though, the film earns all of its moments. It earns all of the emotional moments we get, all of those cheer-worthy audible moments, the gasp moments, like fear or dread. Every single emotion in here is earned because they do a really good job of not just relying on our past history with this franchise, but building up those moments throughout the film so that they have great payoff when they finally hit. And honestly, maybe it's not sounding like I'm saying much, because it really is difficult to talk about this film and the positives within it without spoilers. It's also going to be kind of hard to talk about the negatives within it without spoilers. But let's go ahead and give it a shot, because there are in fact negatives. First of all, I think the first act is a little bit all over the place. It really takes a while for this film to re-find its footing. The opening is amazing. The entire portion in which we're really dealing with the aftermath of Infinity War was so good. But after that, the film really starts to feel all over the place until we really start to get into the main story of this film, which takes place right around the second act. But that first act, it really swings between really heavy and deep stuff to some really iffy comedy, I would say. Some comedic stuff that didn't quite land for me personally. And some of that had to do with my favorite Avenger, Thor. I have to say, I don't like how Thor was handled in this film. Which is a big bummer because over the last couple of films, I thought they had finally really used Thor well. They had finally gotten a grasp on the character, learned how to use Chris Hemsworth and his talent, which he was great in this film still. This movie seemed to really lose that. I didn't understand the direction really they went with Thor. I didn't really love the direction they went with Thor. And especially when we get to that final battle, I didn't love how Thor was utilized yet again. It was a bit disappointing coming off of Infinity War, where I thought Thor was kind of the shining star of that film, to this, where I think Tony and Cap have such great moments and great arcs. He's kind of like the OG trilogy member who is just like the doof of the group, and I don't know, I just kind of wish we had evolved past that. He has some good moments in here, but a lot of kind of like, oh, that's a bummer. He kind of got pushed to the wayside. And then speaking on that final battle, well, a lot of it I know technically is there and it can happen. That's all I'm gonna say. I know it can happen. So if you kind of catch where I'm going here without the spoilers and you want to attack me in the comments, I know it can happen. But a lot of that final battle felt a little bit like fanfic to me. So of course you're involved. Of course you're invested. But yeah, they're pushing for some like fan service moments, but then the next moment I'm like screaming and like cheering and like, yes! We also have some moments trying to like recreate other moments within the MCU that worked to varying degrees. But honestly, I am a big fan, so I was obviously on board, but it goes a little bit into like fanfic territory in that final battle for me personally. Also, I have to say, most of the CGI looked great. Some of that CGI, though, a little bit rough. In particular, the suits that they wear that we saw in the trailer, those, tan suits, they weren't actually wearing like any sort of like helmet device, and it was very clearly like CGI heads placed inside of there. The first time in particular we see Paul Rudd in it, oh, I thought it looked terrible, but it looks pretty bad several times. And then there's just like this random sequence where there's a house and the background is like a night sky that very clearly is CGI. So every now and then there were just moments that would like take me out of like, oh, okay, CGI. But then all the crazy stuff looked wonderful and seamless. But overall, Endgame provides a pretty amazing end to this saga. I have to say it. You're going to get everything you want out of this film. It has the feels. It has the cheers. It has the smiles, the laughs, the dread, every emotion you're hoping for. It's all here. And it provides such a satisfying and authentic feeling conclusion to this saga. So clearly, you're going to do it anyway, but give Avengers Endgame a full price ticket. See it in the biggest movie theater possible because it definitely deserves that. So that is my review of Avengers Endgame. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Avengers Endgame? Or have you already seen it? Remember, this is a spoiler-free review, so leave your spoiler-free thoughts in the comment section down below. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!